Okay, let's go. Okay, guys, so this is just really for the CPL Terran Academy, because people have been posting replays in there asking for help. And I just kind of wanted to post like a single player video, which is what this is, which is something I just recommend for a lot of you guys. We really should just take our build into single player and practice it to death until we can execute it correctly in single player. So we'll just say this is TVP here, and we'll just do a 5-fact, and we do it over and over and over again until we're there. So there's not really a whole lot to do at the beginning of the game. So I don't think there's, I know a lot of people say, oh, like, don't worry about mining efficiently, but for me, there's nothing else to do. So I'm gonna boost this SCV on this mineral patch, and just make sure I'm sending every SCV to an individual mineral patch at the beginning of the game. It does make a big difference, but if you don't have the APM for that kind of thing, then then start doing it, and then you'll start getting the APM. Okay, so yeah, depot, barracks on 11, everything's standard here. Making workers. You guys should be hotkeying your command centers. There's no reason to not be hotkeying it until you have comsats. Then you can switch to the camera keys. So gas on 12, still just boosting, and then I'm gonna go scout on 13. Right, here we go. Gonna go here, and I'm gonna end scout TVP. It's my opinion you should always end scout in TVP. There's no reason to not end scout in TVP. And I think it makes a difference if you are a lower APM player. I think that it makes a difference that you try in single player to up this APM by kind of doing a little bit of light spamming. Okay, then we're gonna pull off gas here. Rallied my 16th SCV down here. Make a factory. Okay, no one's here, so now we end scout. SCV, got my first Marine. Okay, second Marine. And this opening right here, guys, this should be crisp. Like, we should have our factory on time. There shouldn't be anything crazy going on. Okay, I'm just going to wait here, I don't know if there's a zealot or something. So just make 3 Marines to be safe. We don't know what our opponent's doing. So we're just, even though it's a computer, we're just going to play like it's ladder, right? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go down to my low ground, rally my factory and my barracks to the low ground here. Okay, opponent's cross spawns. Make a vulture. I'm going to keep my Marines in a line here. So this SCV. I'm going to prep an SCV for a depot. Make my command center. Get my camera location on it. I'm going to make a depot here. I'm going to send an SCV down to make a bunker. I'm going to make another SCV. I'm going to hotkey my vulture, send it across the map, and I'm going to make a machine shop. If the goon comes, I'm going to fight it with these 3 Marines, and now I'm going to make a bunker. Okay? Oh, I swear to God, I made this guy Protoss, but okay, we're still going to do the 5-fact build. So, this is the time right here in single player, guys, where let's work on our multitasking. Okay, so mines, vulture, okay, Marines in the bunker. So here's something we can all start working on. Let's just take a second SCV at 425. Okay, and keep 2 SCVs by our bunker, okay? Because range, the soonest range can be finished is 425. Okay, I'm going to send my SCVs, and now I'm going to make an armory. So let's just keep working on our multitasking. We got 2 vultures here. This guy's like afraid. Okay. Okay, let's make a tank. This is how I do it here. Let's go to his third. I'm gonna lay the mines out in a line like this. I'm gonna mine up the bases. Then I'm gonna go eBay. Okay. And then I'm just gonna bring these vultures home. Okay. Starting +1 weapons. Okay. And I'm just gonna leave this SCV lives here for the rest of the game, okay? Now I'm gonna go second fact before siege. Because I have this sweet 1 vulture opening, or 3 vulture opening rather. My economy is really strong, right? Okay. eBay's done. I'm gonna kill these eggs. I'm gonna make a turret here. I'm gonna make a turret here. I'm gonna make a turret here. Just in time for the observer coming across the map at 6:30, right? Okay, this SCV that's making the depots lives here. See how on top of my workers I am this whole time? Just constantly going back and forth. Making sure I'm making workers. Okay? Now I have some good zoning. I'm going to make a Goliath. And I'm just going to make sure he's not down here. I'm going to siege this guy here. Okay, the SCV lives here. I'm going to go Academy. Okay, I'm going to get Goliath range. Okay, I'm going to leave a vulture there. I'm going to leave a vulture here at the corners. Okay. Okay, now we need to get ready to add some factories here. 7:30. And just rally your factories at your ramp, okay? And if a shuttle comes in, we just react to it, okay? We're at the point now where we're going to start making double depots. I'm going to cancel these SCVs because I'm going to make the comm stats and my supply is a little late here. Okay. +1's almost done. I'm gonna make a second machine shop, and I'm just gonna keep making depots, guys, 2 at a time. Okay. There's a lot going on right here. Okay. Okay, I've got 4 Goliaths. Here's my factories. I'm in a camera location. I'm gonna practice moving my rallies over quickly. I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna make a turret. Unload the bunker. I'm going to take my Marines. Okay, and I'm out on the map. Okay, I'm going to scan ahead. And I'm going to get my units up on this high ground. Right? You guys with me here? Still doing. These SCVs live here. These SCVs live here that are making these depots. Okay, I'm gonna go starport. +1 weapons is about halfway done. Okay, 2 depots at a time still. It never ends. See? Hitting the macro cycles, practicing keeping the money low. Okay. Make sure there's no fucking carriers. I mean, we don't really know. We're just playing the game. Okay, I'm going to get my 3rd base ready. Now I'm going to add 2 factories. I'm going to get a science facility. Okay, land my 3rd. And I'm going to start a 2nd armory in my natural. That way, if I get recalled, my +2 weapons is safe. Okay? Still going 2 depots at a time. Gonna get my 3rd safe. I'm gonna transfer 12 workers from my main. And I'm gonna take 8 from my natural. 3rd's landing. We're gonna start setting up defenses over here. Science facility's done. Look at that. Right when the upgrades are done. Okay, I'm gonna do +1 weapons down there. I'm gonna take my 3rd gas right away. We're getting very close to having all the workers we need for the rest of the game. Start that +1, +2 weapons, guys. Okay, now I'm a little ahead on depots because I made some in my natural, so I'm just gonna take a break from making depots in my main for a minute. See, we got all of our depots down. Gonna make a vessel. Okay. Third machine shop. Okay. We want to make sure we're scanning. We're not getting carriers switched. And we want to start mining up our bases. Getting EMP here. Okay. Looking pretty good. Gonna make a couple more SCVs. Maybe it's Arbiter. I'm gonna start mining up my bases. Right? Getting ready for recalls potentially here. I keep my Goliaths and my science vessels on the same hockey. Don't forget EMP. We want to lay mines around our factories and our command center. Okay, guys, don't over turret your base. Okay, you want just enough turrets when you're doing recall defense that it forces the Arbiter to recall on your mines, right? So like an Arbiter can't go past, it can't make it past 3 turrets, okay? Okay, getting everything set up. Okay, we're maxed out. We add 2 more facts. Okay, start our 4th command center. Okay, let's go push. Let's say he's got this base here. I'm going to scan ahead. Right? I'm going to mine ahead. Let's say he doesn't know I'm coming down here. I'm going to mine the path. Siege a couple tanks. Right? I got my 4th base going in my natural here. Okay, let's stop here. You guys can do this over and over and over again. This is exactly what you want to be practicing in single player. until you can get this crisp. And like, this isn't even crisp, right? Like, this is the first time I've played StarCraft today. I'm talking the whole time. You can get to the upgrades and a max supply like a minute faster than I did here, right? With more concentration. So my number one advice to all you guys is that we should be practicing in single player until we can kind of get to this game state, get to this flow where we have our workers. We have our workers and everything is correct, and we're just going to go back and just watch the replay, and then we're just going to criticize like our own play, okay? And you guys can be doing this. It's like, it's not the best, like the funnest way to play StarCraft, right? I know it's fun to ladder. I know it's fun to play custom games, but the amount of improvement that you'll get if you practice this stuff in single player like this, you'll scale twice as fast as the people that are at your level that don't practice in single player. It's way more productive to get the build down first and know it like a reflex, right? Like martial arts, where you're not having to think about it anymore. Like, you know the path that you're going, and it's a reflex. And then, because during the game, a ton of things could happen, right? Like, the shuttle's going to come, and you're going to get disoriented. And if you have all the reflexes in place, then you're still going to be able to mostly execute your build or know where you're at in the game, because you have the fundamental down so well. And for a lot of you guys that are like posting replays, if you're like, you know, like below B rank or something, most of the issues that you guys are having is like, you're not making the workers and you're not making the depots. And then there's the multitasking. And when you're playing in single player, practice multitasking. I mean, don't just like make these vultures and then not go lay out the mines. Like, lay out the mines how you'd lay them in a game, you know, like if this was a Protoss, like we're going to lay the mines to delay the expansions. I like to lay mines like this in case it's a DT, you know, you put them in a line like this. And the other reason too is, you know, you could lay even more. Let's say you go 1, 2, 3, 4, not only for a DT, but if you're going to go second factory and get siege a little bit later, this is going to just slow them down when they have an observer. It makes a difference, right? They got to come across the map and kill all these. They'll give you just enough time to have siege done before they can show up at your base with goons and observers, okay? Originally in the guide that I made, that 5fact+1, you know, that was like my beginner guide. Most of the time, guys, you're not going to go eBay first. You're going to go Armory first. And most of the games I play, I'm going second factory before I even get my turrets. Because you really don't need, unless you have cause for concern that there's DTs, we really don't need the turrets until about 6:30. So just put them, you know, try to put your turrets down right around 6:15, 6 minutes. A little bit earlier is okay, but the way that I think about it in my head is not necessarily on the clock. It's based on the buildings that I have down, right? So I know I make my turrets after I get my second factory. Unless I saw something that makes me think it's DTs, then, you know, obviously I'm going to go eBay first. But most of the time, you know, you should be able to sniff out DTs. You're just going to go Armory first, okay? Okay, so this is how I always set my tanks, by the way, too, just making more notes. Like, I always put this one here. I want it far away from the bunker so they can't just, like, run in and snipe this tank. And I want it to protect, like, my mineral line from a Reaver, okay? I put the turret here because it helps versus a shuttle, and it also is good versus DTs, right? Like, you don't want to make this turret right here. Because, like, if they go DTs, they just take 4 goons, snipe your turret, and you lose. You want this tucked back here a little bit, so if they try to snipe your turret, they have to run in. And you don't want to put this turret over here if you're only making 3 turrets, because then it doesn't help you versus DTs, and the shuttle can kind of come over and skirt the turret and, like, get shot by the bunker a little bit, but it's, you know, it's not as good. So if you put the tank here, you have this tank on the high ground that's going to like defend your bunker from goons trying to shoot it. Then you have the tank here that's going to defend this area from like just a Reaver drop or whatever. And then we should have a Goliath coming out to help defend the shuttle if it just skirts into our base, okay? And then like I said during the game, is you want to just have like 2 tanks or so sieged. You know, maybe if you want to, you siege another one over here by this turret in case it's a Reaver, or up here, something like that, to defend these depots if they like drop the Reaver over here. That's fine. Everything else you want to do is you want to just rally your units by your ramp, and you want to make sure they're hotkeyed. And if a shuttle flies into your base, you just take these units and you just react to the shuttle. Okay? And just analyze your play. Like I said, you know, you should have about 50 SCVs by 8 minutes, okay? And like we're here. And then the comm stats are going to go down. I believe I can't. Yeah, okay. So you want to go back and you want to make sure you hit this worker count, right? And the better you do the worker count, the less seconds you spend supply blocked, the less seconds you spend having an idle command center, the faster all this is going to happen. And, you know, Terran is the timing race, right? So the optimization to all this stuff is key, and it's like my opinion that like trying to optimize while you're laddering or in custom games before you have all the fundamentals down is just gonna slow down your progress, right? So dive into the single player, do it 100 times, right? And then maybe you just practice to this part, okay? Like to the 9-minute mark. I got my push ready, you know, I'm gonna scan and then start the game over and do it again, right? So I scan the high ground, just practicing, like, right? You don't want to just like blindly move out without scanning. So even practice that. Like scanning for the Protoss army should be an instinct. It should be a reflex. You should never just move out without scanning and knowing what's going on the high ground, or even just right here first. You know, maybe you lay the scan here to see if there's something sitting right here or if there's stuff sitting up here, right? Because most of the time you're going to have to float this barracks and, you know, push your way up onto your high ground. You know, it's totally fine to make your command center in your main like this. I could have, you know, watched this replay. I could have put this down a little sooner. And so the game plan moving forward, if you're not going to push, if we're going to take our third on location, is we're gonna make the command center either on location or up here, however you want to practice it, is totally fine. We're going to get our starport when our +1 armor is about halfway done. Okay, and then when our third is going, we're going to add 2 more. We're going to add 2 more factories. Whatever he's attacking doesn't matter. We're taking 12 SCVs from our main that transfer over here. Like this could have been a little sooner. And I'm going to take, you know, 6 or 8 SCVs from my natural and go over here. So when the starport's finished, you start your science facility. When you start your science facility, I mean, realistically, I should have started this second armory a little bit sooner, so that's something I could do better, because I could have this upgrade going right now, right? So 1128. I'm just checking here. How long? Okay, so I could have had this going 13 seconds sooner, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot, because when I was max, this upgrade wasn't finished, and it would be better if this upgrade was finished at the same time as I was pushing, because I don't want it to get done when I'm, you know, halfway through the fight and I lost half of my units, right? 13 seconds is a lot. Like 13 seconds is I'm moving across the map and I get into an engagement and my +2's not done. So there's a criticism here. Like you can go through your replay and find all this stuff in your play and then go back and try to do a better job and dial it in, okay? And so you want like 60, 65 SCVs. So you should be done making workers like right around the time your third's landed. Like I said about recall defense, you don't want to make a million turrets. You just want enough turrets so that the Arbiter has to like recall on your mines. Like you don't want the Arbiter to be able to go like up here for free, right? You want to make it so if the Arbiter comes in like right here, he's going to have to like recall here before it dies, which is way easier to defend, and that's where your mines are. So lay mines around your factories, lay mines around your command centers like this. If you have the ability to think ahead before you land this command center, you know, you can mine your mineral line also really strong. Like this should really have a third turret right here because the Arbiter can actually make it by right here and skirt these turrets and make it into my main. So this is like an adjustment. I could have a third turret here or a turret back here or something to force the Arbiter to actually recall. And then another note is, like, you know, make sure you're putting your second armory in your natural. You don't want them both next to each other, and then you want to start your +2 weapons in your natural. And the reason why is because if you do get recalled, it's very unlikely that you'll get recalled in your natural. It's like the worst place for them to recall because it's the easiest for me to defend, right? I'm sitting right here with my units, and I got units coming out right here on top of my ramp, and I can just crush this. So most of the time, if you're going to get recalled, you know, it's going to happen in your main, and then they're going to get the armor upgrade instead of your weapons upgrade, which is at least better, okay? And then so, you know, I'm maxed out and moving out. See this right here? I mean, that looks like about 13 to 20 seconds to me, and I'm maxed. So 14 minutes, we're maxed. We should have our upgrades, so we could do a better job here. And looking at this, guys, I know I can max faster than this, so I can go back, and I saw myself floating like 1,000 minerals here and there, you know, so I know I could go back and do a better job and try to make this happen faster. So I really advise that you guys just go into single player and do this for like every matchup over and over and over again until you can whittle this down to a better and better time, right? So if it's the 8-minute mark and you got 40 SCVs, when you go watch the replay, go back. You need to focus on the SCV production. You should have about 50 SCVs at the 8-minute mark, okay? That's your benchmark. When it's 9 minutes, you want to throw down, if you're doing this 5-fact +1, throw down that third command center, get your 2 factories going, get ready for your next upgrades, scan ahead, get set up, make your defenses, and get your third, and then you have your 4th command center you want to have building, like even sooner than this. I could have afforded it, right? And you really need to be on like 2.5 mining bases as Terran. But here, this is a really strong push. If you guys can get here, if you can get maxed at 14 minutes and have your 2-1 upgrades and you're like below B, you're going to steamroll a lot of people if you can just sit in single player and execute this, okay? All right, good luck.